And we are live. Welcome to the Six for Sixers podcast. I am your host, Creek, and we're going live from Facebook tonight, recapping the game. This is the Six for Sixers podcast where we recap, talk about everything Sixers, and we usually try to do it in 6 points, hence the title Six for Sixers. Sometimes on particularly frustrating nights, we go into what we call overtime. We need more than 6 points to break the game down. So I got my brother, my co-host, who joins me here to help break down the game. His name John Jervy. What's up, bro?
What's up, bro? Not a whole lot, man. A little disappointed, but we're gonna get into it. I'm
A
glad to
little
be.
disappointed, very disappointing. So let me just give the game summary. Sixers lose to the New York Knicks 96 to 110. Frustrating game. The Sixers were down some key players. Um, Melton, Covington, Embiid, and the Knicks were also down one of their main players in Julius Randle. The Knicks were also down.
OG and Nobley.
Yeah, yep. OG. They didn't have OG, so you know should have been a fair. It should have been well. It's not fair because we down the MVP of the league, which he accounts for a great deal of offense and defense for us. So we won't call it an even swap, but it was a game in which we could have won, I felt. And we just did not. We showed signs of spurts where we were defensively really good, and we showed signs where we were offensively pretty good. And in the end, just didn't work out. So that is the game summary. Now we're gonna get into the six for Sixers, the 6 points. I'm going to yield to you, brother, and let you get the first point in. What's your first point on the key to the loss tonight against the Knicks?
I'm gonna save Toby for you. I want to get into Toby so bad, but I'm
Go
gonna leave.
ahead, man, because because I don't I'm Toby. I can't, Toby's my guy. I made a whole Six for Sixers about Toby.
I like Toby.
I call him Swiss Army knife and talked about how he was such a versatile player. So I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be difficult for me because I just made that episode like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So so you might need to handle the Toby thing because I don't want to look like a hypocrite.
I'm going in then. Since you
All
passed the
right,
ball, I'm always going to yield to you as the host. But since you gave me the
go
green
ahead,
light
man.
going on Toby, this brother, we keep our points short, brief, to the point. I'm not going to harp on his $39 million he's making, but that bag that you wear sometimes when you embarrass, um, there's the bag. There, Toby, Doc, he got the bag on with the ski mask under it, and he's sticking the Sixers up when Embiid's not there for this man not to step up and to look this interested and have this puppy dog face. Like, I know they're gonna roast me afterwards, is disheartening, is disappointing, and is discouraging. Toby, I'm not gonna put the loss solely on his shoulders, but when Embiid's not in, the MVP, the big fella, Toby has to give us 25 and 8 or 9 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists as a go-to player. This man, I'm gonna call him for the night, Ski Mask Toby.
or, or
paper,
paper bag Toby.
yeah, for this
Paper
podcast, paper bag Toby
paper
tonight.
bag Toby, man. I almost wore it tonight, man, because it was embarrassing. Just to give the stats, Tobias Harris was 7 points, scored 7 points. He was 3 for 9, only took 9 shots, 1 for 3 from 3 point. He had a total of 4 rebounds, 3 assists. That's a pretty bad night, man. I mean, it was a point in the game where I was like, I know I saw him, like I know he's out there, but is he playing? Because I didn't he was such a non-factor that I couldn't even really remember at certain points. Like, yeah, he was out there, and anytime it's that bad, man, that's dismal. So that's point number one. Tobias Harris, man, I can't even ride with you, my bro. Tobias, I got to co-sign what you said. He was awful. He was so bad that it would have been better if Nurse would have just went Ricky Council. Just go with Council. Go with bring in Lofton. Bring in Lofton. You know what I mean?
Anybody but Toby.
Anybody but Toby, man. So point number one, Tobias Harris. Sorry, man. You gotta do better, man. All right. So my point number two, I got a bunch of points, but I'm gonna go with in the Knicks jumped out to a 15 to 3 lead. The game started, and man, the score, they just ran up the score. So they started out with a 15 to 3 lead. We are not a team that can overcome leads like that. I mean, when we start the quarter bad, it's kind of a wrap. You kind of know in the first quarter, like they're not coming back from that. And they showed signs of coming back. And that's one of my other points. They showed signs of coming back. But how about in the first half, in the first half of the first quarter, like the first 7 minutes, they were down 15 to 3. So you already got your back up against the wall. You're not a team that you're not playing big because you don't have any true bigs, and you're playing small ball kind of, and it's really difficult to come back. And I mean, I can get into like I'll get into those later. The other point, I'm bleeding in the other points, but my second point is just the first quarter play. And you had to play all 4 quarters. And the Sixers have a tendency to play well in like one, maybe 2 quarters. But then in the quarters that really matter, the first and then the fourth, they have a hard time starting, and then they have a hard time, finishing up the game. And that's a recipe for disaster because they're only playing good really well. Really, they only play really well or decent in the third. And then show signs of it in the fourth, but they didn't play the whole fourth. So my second point, finishing quarters, but more particularly starting the game in with a competitive nature. You can't get down 12 points in the first 6 minutes, 7 minutes of the game and expect to muscle back and win the game when you don't even have your best player. So point number two. Point number three, on you, my brother.
Listen, I told my son and my wife that, I said, me and my bro, we can't jump on here and just go straight ham and be negative Nelly for all 6 points. So I said, let me think of some positives. So, we just don't hammer them for 6 straight points. So I'm a flip flop and go to the transparent, obvious points that led to the loss. But we also got to, highlight any positives. And I say, I was pleasantly surprised that the North Philly native that came back home has something left in the tank.
Yes.
I thought he was cooked. I thought he was, on fumes. But when his first shot, when he did it, my son calls it a jelly. He did the jelly and went on the other side and flipped it up. And he don't have that, the step back, the explosiveness. I don't think that the long range bombs with a hand in his face because he don't got to lift off the floor. But the fact that he has something left in the tank with Embiid out, and I'll close my point with this. Again, the point is just that, Lowry has something left in the tank and it's going to be huge for us, especially when the big fella comes back. But, with him having something left in the tank, I would like to see going forward, Lowry and Maxey in the backcourt.
Yes.
And bring Hield off the bench because Maxey just wants to score. You always say that. He goes to the rack looking to score. If you want to score, let's let him score. Let's start Lowry and Hield off the bench because Hield won't be as effective until Embiid comes back.
Yes.
So when Embiid comes back, then start maybe Hield again and bring Lowry off the bench. But without the big fella, I would like to see a Lowry Maxey backcourt. But my point, the North Philly native, he has enough in the tank to help us make a significant run if Embiid comes back healthy.
Yes, I agree. That was one of my points as well. Lowry played I call it an efficient game. 5 for 7 field goals, 1 for 2 3-pointers,
Mhm.
and he was a +4. He's one of the few Sixers that was even a plus. The
Yeah,
rest was minus, whatever, 5 assists for Lowry, 4 rebounds. That's a great game
yes,
right
it is.
off the bench, 25 minutes. And the thing about Lowry, to piggyback on what you were saying, was when you're talking about efficiency, he plays kind of like Batum, not in terms of position, obviously, but in terms of efficiency. He's not doing a lot of unnecessary stuff. He doesn't have that wild athleticism. He really never was like wildly athletic, but he's not expending unnecessary energy. He's going exactly when that's what we call a wily veteran. We used to call back in the day.
Yes,
Not
sir.
expending a lot of energy, just going exactly where I need to be, being on the floor where I need to be, shooting when I need to shoot, and passing if I don't have anything. And he played a great game. So I'm hoping he keeps that up, and the thing about it is Lowry had not played in a while. So
Yeah.
he is still kind of getting back into game shape. So I look forward to great things. And I agree with you. He should start with Maxi, because Maxi is not a true point guard, in my opinion. He just built shooting guard, built the score. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to what they have to offer. So I'm glad you threw a positive point in. That was point number 3. Kyle Lowry play. Now I'm going back to the negative. I'm going back to the negative, man, because my fourth point is the lack of defensive consistency.
Mhm.
And that goes back to what I said in the beginning with starting the quarters bad. It was defense. And the thing about it is we showed signs in the third quarter, and I have it here. We started off really badly. Third quarter, we had cut the lead to 10, and the Knicks were up like over 20 points at the half. And then we cut the lead to 10. And then that was in the third quarter. And in the fourth quarter, cut it even further. That was because of scrappy play, scrappy defense, Maxi getting in the passing lanes, being disruptive, getting their hands in the mix. But then the Knicks would just take over, man, and just jump the score back up. We were up. I mean, we had the lead down to 10. And then I think we got it down to about less than 10, like 6, 7, 6 or 7. And then all of a sudden it just jumped back up to like 15 points and ended up with a 14-point lead to end the game. So I just saw like a lack of effort defensively. They were putting clamps on the Knicks, making it real tough for the Knicks, especially made it pretty tough on Brunson, but then we let off on look at the guys that went off. Uh Bogdanovich, 22 points, off the bench. DiVincenzo. These guys are supposedly role players. So those guys were just getting open in the corner. Achua, man, I almost broke my TV. Achua getting wide open putbacks. And so my point number 4, lack of defensive consistency. You cannot play defense for a couple minutes, cut the lead, and then take your foot off the gas. They had opportunity to win. If they would have kept that defensive intensity up in the fourth quarter, they could have come back and won the game. So that's point number 4. Straight over to you, brother. Point number 5.
Point number 5, man, to make sure that the partners on the 6 for 6 podcast, the best podcast and Sixers platform in the nation, to make sure we vibing with them, man. My point, I'm gonna share it with everybody that's tuning in. Showing his love, engaging with us. So Mark is saying Toby sucks. Can't deny that. Yeah, he reiterated the point. We started off terrible. Maxie did well. Marcus, yes, he did. Aaron is saying, yep, Bogey went nuts. Lowry, high IQ carry. That's
That's the word right there.
high IQ, and we need that to help us, become more efficient. And Serge, he said gets Reed out of town. I,
Oh man,
I hear
that's
you. I hear
cold. Come on, Mr. Benson.
you.
That's it.
Yeah, the bigs were non-existent, and Carey made one of your main contributors. He said, and what beat us was the other Villanova high IQ player, Brunson, Dante, and Hart. The Villanova connection wore us out. And about Brunson, I say about him, Carey. Me and my son was talking about him. I said he defies all the metrics that the analysts look for. He doesn't have that long arm extension. He's not athletic, can't jump. He's not fast. But something that they can't measure is IQ and footwork.
Yeah.
And he's off the charts when it comes there. But that's it, man. I just want to share my point with everybody that's engaging us right now. So I turn it back over to you, man.
All right. So those are good points. So, Marcus, come on.
Get him out of
Toby's had some good games. And then, all right, so let's go into that. I'm gonna go on to Serge's comment on getting Reed out of town. I'm gonna ask you this. This is kind of going off my points, but the big man. Well, I tied into one of my points, rebounding.
Yeah, I was hoping you was gonna go there.
Oh man, the Knicks. Man, look, I'm gonna bring up my notes. So that goes with the big men, or our so-called big men. We'll put it in quotes. Second chance points. Precious Achua had 11 rebounds, and he was a plus 15. Josh Hart. Let me say that again. What position does Josh Hart play?
He's like a 2-3. They play back between them.
He's not a 4 or 5, right?
No.
I'm just checking because he had 11 rebounds.
Unacceptable.
Come on, man. I mean, and so Sims, who is way down on the chart he's athletic, but he had a gaggle of rebounds too. And so let's look at how many rebounds Paul Reed had. Paul Reed
should have had 15.
He had 5.
Unacceptable.
And not Batum, Mo Bamba. Guess how many Mo Bamba had?
I'm gonna go on a high side and say 3.
That's on the high side. Mo Bamba. Oh man, I thought I read it wrong. Mo Bamba. Well, I will say Bamba only played 5 minutes, but he had 1 rebound. So that your big men combined for 6 rebounds. Paul Reed had 2 points. Bamba had 0 points, but he only played 5 minutes. But Reed played 22. It's clear that the Sixers made a mistake not getting Andre Drummond. And it was reported that they could have gotten Andre Drummond for some second-round picks, like 2 or 3 second-round picks. Just do it. I don't care if he's 30. If we live in the now, right now, man, you package up, give him 2 second rounds, give him Bamba, give him Reed. Just get them guy. I agree. Reed looked bad, man. He couldn't even hold the ball. And Bamba shot a 3, why are you shooting 3s? Why is Bamba shooting 3s?
He's the biggest man on the floor.
You're the biggest man. We need you in the paint. You cannot be on the perimeter, because when you miss, there's Josh Hart there grabbing rebounds. So that was my what was that? Was that the 5th point or the 6th point?
That was the 6th.
That was the 6th point. Yeah. So second chance points, lack of hustle, no rebounding, technical stuff like we mentioned in the last game, boxing out, no box outs. It's just we just get lucky. If we get a rebound, it's just because Maxey is quick to the ball and he just gets to it before anybody. But we're not getting those real muscle bound defensive, good technical rebounds where a guy has a guy on his backside boxing him out and gets to open. We're not getting them. And that's so I falls on.
Breaking news for you, bro. You might want to read it. It's going to fix our problems. Carey has breaking news.
All right, let me read it. Carey says, breaking news. Dennis Rodman coming out of rebound. I think Rodman could get more than 1 rebound. And I think Rodman could get more than Paul Reed's 5 rebounds. So, hey, I'll take that. That's breaking news. I'll take that. I'll take Rodman, man, but get anybody, man. Bill Cartwright. Get Bill Cartwright. You
Big
know what
Ben
I mean?
with the
You
jump shot
know,
to pack the ball
get
around.
Charles Oakley. Get Charles
Yeah.
Oakley out of retirement. You know, so that was point number 6. Let's go into overtime, man. Give me another point.
Man, like I said, there's so many. I'm trying to decide. Do we go on a negative Nelly side or try to find some positive points, man, in the overtime piece? And
I
I'm
didn't,
going,
there wasn't a lot of positives, man. Just go and do what you got to do.
man. Listen, we going there. Then I just need you to open up the door.
Go ahead.
Nurse at this point,
Oh,
if
shucks.
if Toby is not going to have the tenacity to say tonight I'm gonna go get me 10 rebounds, and if the other players aren't gonna box out, let's go small. If we're gonna get hammered anyway, let's put 4 playmakers on the floor with maybe try Reed if he's gonna rebound this game and play defense. And if it's not Reed, then I guess maybe go Toby at the 5, but go 4 playmakers with Reed or Toby at the 5, and let's see what happens with it. And them 4 or 5 guys, everybody has to rebound. But at this point, we can't go with a traditional lineup. And, I've seen enough to know at this point that we need playmakers. We need a combination of high IQ scorers and shooters, and there's a mix that Nurse can figure out without going into what the personnel looks like. But I want us to go small. If we get hammered anyway, let's dumb it all the way down and tell them guys go get it until the big fella gets back.
I think, man, that's tough. Yeah, I agree with you though.
I mean,
But
we
how
gonna get hammered
small
on the
though?
court anyway.
Toby playing the 5. Oh, there you go. Serge just said it. Toby playing. Try Harris at the 5.
Yeah, if we get hammered anyhow.
So who's your starting 5? Serge, you can comment. Who's your starting 5? And Jerv, you comment too. If Toby's at the 5, who do you have? Lowry at the 1, Maxey at the 2.
I'm going. I'm even going Oubre. I mean, Oubre, of course. And
Oubre
so
at the 3.
Maxey, Lowry,
Oubre.
Hill, Oubre, and then Toby at the 5.
So
and
Maxey, Lowry, Hield, Oubre, and Toby.
And I'm gonna switch Toby and Reed at the 5. Let them share minutes. And whoever rebounds that night, play. And like I said, we're gonna get beat, but we can't get hammered no more than what we are now. Serge just gave you an answer on who is 5.
He said Maxey at the 1, Melton at the 2 if Melton comes back, Oubre at the 3, Batum at the 4, Harris at the 5.
Can I ask Serge a question?
Go ahead.
Serge, do you believe, because I'm convinced that Batum, I love him with Embiid. Without Embiid, for whatever reason, Serge, this guy appears to be, and I love him, probably the highest IQ in the team between him and Lowry. But without Embiid, he's a wasted spot. Yeah. Tonight, if I'm not mistaken, I think his stat line besides fouls was straight zeros across the board.
So, yeah, Serge, he was.
I'm going to ask you this. Do you think that he is of any benefit to us without Embiid? I'm surprised you have him in the lineup because I haven't seen him have one positive game without Embiid. But Serge, what do you think about it?
Batum, and Serge, we'll wait on your response, but Batum is 0 attempts, 0 offensive rebounds, 3 defensive rebounds, 1 assist, and his highest number stat was fouls. He had 5 fouls. so that was the stat line for him. And I think personally, and I'm not trying to dig any deeper than basketball, but I just think Batum announced in the beginning of the season that this was going to be his last year. And I just think this is it. I think he's over. I think with Embiid drawing so much attention, like you said, he can get those shots open. Nobody's really clamping down on Batum with Embiid getting double team and sometimes triple team. So he gets open looks. He's not getting those looks, and he's not athletic enough to get open. like he was. And when he played with the Clippers, he was doing that.
Yeah.
So Serge says, fair enough. Without Embiid, he has struggled. I would give it a try. Maybe you're right. So Brandon says, I like Toby at the 5, Oubre at the 4, Healed at the 3, Maxi at the 2, Lowry at the 1. And that's what you said, right?
Yep, same lineup. Brandon, I'm with you.
Yeah. Batum is a space when the big fella's on the court that he ain't been right since Embiid got hurt.
Yep. Brandon, I see the same thing, bro. I see the same exact thing. And Nurse keeps on trying to throw him out there and bring Toby back in when he's having a bad game. He got to put Batum back on the bench. And if Toby's not in the right headspace, keep his butt on the bench. And
Man,
let's ball.
y'all killing me, man. Trying to put Toby on the bench, man. Y'all killing me, man. Now let me look at the turnovers because that was a point I was gonna make. It seemed like we had a lot more turnovers, but we didn't. Turnovers was 18-18, but the Knicks, here's where it really counted, and that was gonna be a point of mine too. Points off of turnovers. And I hadn't even looked at the stats, but I just saw that we made a lot of silly turnovers and the Knicks scored off of them. Their points off of turnovers was 23 and ours was 14. But we both had 18 turnovers. So we had the turnovers, the same number, but we weren't capitalizing off of them. So that was another point going into the overtime was that points off turnovers we didn't capitalize. We got the ball being scrappy, but didn't make it count, and the Knicks did. So let's look at the comments. Carrie says, until Joel comes back, I would mix and match lineups, go small at times. We would need Melton and Rocco in the mix to do this. Play fast. Golden State won titles doing this. Yeah, of course they boxed out and they got Draymond Green kicking people and hitting and fighting. So
Fighting and
we don't,
everything.
and that's why we need Pat Bev. You know what I mean? We don't have a fighter now. We have no guy. We don't have that Golden State had. And then Golden State would always have a center who wasn't a dominant scorer, but could play his role pretty well. And of course they got Steph Curry and Thompson, so and they got Clay Splash Brothers. So yeah, they did. They have one, but yeah, they boxed out. They played a more tech. Even Carry Detroit Pistons. Remember the Detroit Pistons team?
Yep.
Where they had, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince. But they had Ben Wallace, who wasn't a really big player, but he was a scrap. He was a dog. We
Yes,
have
sir.
no dogs. We traded the dog, Pat Bev, and we traded the dog, that I can't even remember his name now. Your boy that you was making friends with at the game.
Oh, Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel House Jr. Yeah, I forgot his name. Once they leave the team, I'm like, all right, I'm done with you. So anyway, so yeah, that's we have no dog out there, not one. And I love Maxi, All-Star, props to Maxi in the All-Star game. I don't he's scrappy, man, but I'm talking about a dog, an enforcer.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I see small ball working with the Sixers. If you have a Ben Wallace type of guy in the middle, all right, you can play center.
Yeah.
If you have a Charles Oakley, who's not a big 7-footer, 7'2" or whatever, but he's a dog. He gonna do what it takes to hold down the middle. Even a Dennis Rodman, who's focused. I'm getting rebounds. That's gonna be my focus. We have none of that. We got guys who hanging out at the 3-point line and they getting muscled and they letting Jericho Sims just push them out the way, and we have none of that. So I don't see the small ball work. Man, I'm not trying to be negative Sixer fans, but I don't see anything working. I don't see the small ball working.
See anything working. Oh man, I didn't think he's gonna go there. Uh-oh, here comes the bag. Here comes the bag.
Let me repeat
Oh,
myself. Let me repeat myself. I don't see anything. The only thing I see working is the return of the big fella, Joel Embiid. That's the only thing that's going to work. If you go small ball, you're going to get killed. You have not one dog in the middle. Paul Reed got the length, but he cannot defend. He's just not there. He's not going to do it. Mo Bamba can't do it. And and the only person that can lock down the middle defensively and get to the basket and be intimidating is Joel Embiid. We got no dogs, man. We traded all our dogs off, and I don't see small ball working. I don't see Reed and Bomba working. I don't know what's gonna work, man. If the Knicks are beating us, what we're gonna do against Boston? We're gonna do against Milwaukee. Come on, man. Who got it? Who has an answer for me out there? If you can't beat the New York, we've been dominating the New York Knicks. Now I'm going off, man. I'm going off. I'm going off.
You going in
We've
now.
been dominating the New York Knicks for how many years?
For years now, almost a decade, it seems like.
Almost a decade, man. We've been beating the Knicks down. And this, my good friend is a Knicks fan. Man, he texted me like 20 times during. I had no response. The last game, we lost by like what we lose? We lost by like 30 against the Knicks the last game.
Yeah,
And we had Embiid. We can't beat the Knicks. We're not gonna beat the Celtics. We're not gonna beat the Milwaukee Bucks. We probably don't even beat the Cavaliers in a 7-game series, man. So at this point, and the Knicks made the right moves, at the trade deadline. They unloaded Barrett, they unloaded quickly, they brought in OG, Precious Achua, they filled their roster spots the right way, and it's bad. So I don't see small ball working. Only thing I see working is a lot of prayer that Joel Embiid and his meniscus can get super healed up in the next 4 to 6 weeks, and we can make a run. Anybody else out there can give me some hope, and I take the bag off my head if you can give me some hope in the comments.
I want to hear this. See if somebody has hope, because
there's no hope, man.
Unless the only hope would be if Toby earns a third of his 39 million. If he earns a third of it, we got hope.
You don't even think Toby's a $10 million a year player?
Not right now. When he's on his A game, he's a good 22 million, 20 million player. But for whatever reason, without Embiid, he's only 22 million with Embiid. Now, without Embiid, he dropped to 10 million a year player, and that is sad. But yeah, I'm waiting to see if somebody, gives you a reason to take the bag off, because that's my only reason you take the bag off is if, Toby earns a third of it. That's it. Over, if he earns a third, I can live with that. But this man can't. He can't give me 10 million worth of production a game. Come on, Toby. Come on, man.
Could Toby be hurt, man? I'm just saying, because I'm a Toby fan. Maybe he's not right because he's coming off injury. Maybe he's not right yet.
Before the All-Star break, I was willing to give him a reprieve, but now this cat, you're his twin minus the ski mask. The only thing Toby has, he got the bag on and the ski mask. So if you put the ski mask under that, you'll be his twin. Got the Sixers like this, hands up, with the bag and the mask on. Stick them up.
Well, Sixer fans, we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. I had some other things I want to touch on, but we try to keep them short. I don't try to stay up here, like some podcasts stay for an hour and stuff like that. We're gonna wrap it up. But any last words for the good of the order?
Look, I wish we could say play the song tonight. I know we got a couple games coming up over the next couple days, so hoping for the best. Hopefully, Sixers fans, we can play the song again soon. But this was not a good game. This was not a good one for us. And check this out: we got the Cavaliers tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, man. They owe us. They owe us. Yeah, that's gonna be a 2-point shellacking. They owe us. All right, y'all. Appreciate the love, man, and appreciate y'all joining in. This is something that we just trying to just do whatever, just as for the love of the Sixers. My brother and I, we've been Sixer fans since we were young, right? Yes, sir.
And me and you met when we were in like I think I was in the 7th or 8th grade and you were in like the 6th or 7th grade, something like that.
We was
And
eight.
so we've been Sixer fans for a long time. And we just doing this for the love of it. So appreciate y'all joining in. This is the Six for Sixer podcast. Always check us out on YouTube as well. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I guess we'll see them, man, when we get with them in Cleveland, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. Are we going live tomorrow, Serge asked?
Um, yeah, I can't jump on tomorrow, but when's the next one after that?
Sunday is the Bucks. That's a 1 o'clock game. So, man, I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, I'm gonna watch it, but going live, it's not a night game.
You know what? I know I'm going to the Sixers the Blue Coats game, their G League
Okay.
game. I'm supposed to go to that game at 3. So depending on what time you do it, that's probably after the game, I'll probably be at the Blue Coats. Can I tell you what though? I might be able to do it at the game though. So if you want to do it after the Bucks game, hit me up, let me know, and can do my part right from the field house, the Chase Field House.
Okay, yeah, that's dope. All right, let's try that. All right. And then maybe you could give us some points. That will be better. Sir said that'd be better than the Sixers. Yeah, maybe we need to do a 6 for Blue Coat. We need to change the name, bro. Six for the Blue Coats. And maybe we could get some, bro. We could play the song, you know what I'm saying? Blue Coats. We can make our own song, but at least we'll get on a winning team. But yeah, let's feel it out. I'll go live tomorrow. Yeah, I'll go live, Serge. I'll be on tomorrow and we'll see. We'll see how it goes tomorrow night. So everybody, thanks for joining us. And go Sixers, even in spite of the loss. I'm a lifelong fan. I am not a fair weather fan. I am not one to, I went through all the tank years and I don't believe they're tanking. We got to hold out hope that Embiid can come back and come back healthy. That's the main thing. As Kerry mentioned earlier, that he's come back the right way and not risking further injury. I'd rather him not come back than to come back and then he's not a 100% ready to go. So we'll see. All right, 6 for Sixer podcast, Brother Creek, co-host John Jervy. Peace. We'll see y'all next time. Later.